So if you are like me, you want to do the carnivore diet, but you don't want to break the bank while doing it, and you're not too picky with exactly what you eat, then I made this video for you because price, when I started carnivore diet, was one of the big factors that I thought about when I decided to do the carnivore diet long term. And now, after a while, after a few months, I've actually realized that the carnivore diet is cheaper for me compared to what I did before. And there are several other economic benefits that you get that you don't think about when starting. So today I want to give you a lot of value in this video, and I want to share with you the best tips that I've learned along the way. So let's go. So the first way to save a lot of money on the carnivore diet is of course to look out after discounts, because almost always butchers and supermarkets will mark down their beef and their eggs, and when you get that chance you should really buy as much of it as you can and put it in the freezer. It's also a good idea to buy in bulk, because at quite a few shops you can get pretty good discounts when you buy the bigger packages. And of course, a good investment to do is really to buy a bigger freezer. In the long run, it might very well pay off. And from personal experience, I can tell you that if you know a smaller shop or a butcher, a good thing to do is also to try to negotiate with them, because usually they will be more than happy to give you a discount if you buy in larger quantities. Because if you're on the carnivore diet, you buy a lot more meat than the average person. So that's really a win-win if they can give you a lower price, and in that way they can get a loyal customer. And another way to save quite a bit of money is to opt for cheaper cuts. So ground beef, I think it's the best example of this. It's as nutrient dense as any other cut really, but usually you get the fattier ground beef for a lot cheaper, which of course on the carnivore diet is beneficial for you. So although quality matters, even cheaper cuts are so much better than any other plant-based food that you can get. So when it comes to quality, is it grass-fed, grass-finished? I wouldn't worry about it too much. Like the difference of the highest quality meat and what you can afford is not that big. So really go with what you can. And something else that is very nutritious but very inexpensive are meat organs. So liver, heart, they're usually quite a bit cheaper than ground beef, for example, and the amount of nutrients that you get from them are just truly amazing. So what I would say is that at least once or twice a week, switch out your ground beef, for example, for some sort of organ like liver. And by eating some liver, you will also save money on not needing to buy a vitamin pill, because liver does the job, right? And then we come to dairy, and although it's not included in everyone's carnivore diet, personally I only use butter. Dairy could be very inexpensive. Something like Greek yogurt, has very good macro and micronutrients. So if it's something that you react well with and you function well with dairy, there is 100% something to use more of if you're tight on your budget. And then a little bit depending on where you live, you can get different random cuts for very cheap prices. Something like pork belly or shoulder, you can usually get it for very good prices, and it has a lot of fat, a lot of good nutrients. And a thing that I also like to do is sometimes to just buy a whole chicken if it's for a good price. You can basically split it up for a few meals, and then with the bones, always keep the bones and make some bone broth out of it, because bone broth is very nutritious. And at least with chicken, if you boil the bones long enough, you can also eat the bones. There you have a good source of calcium, and you have a nice Friday night snack when you want to chew on something carnivore. And just as a tip, I would say that it's a very good idea to really compare the prices in different stores to each other, because you can find quite a bit of differences in price. And I know that pork, for example, in Finland is very cheap. So something like pork neck, it's a very delicious cut, but you can usually get it for around 7-8 euros a kilogram. So that is just something that you really need to look locally and see for yourself. So then we come to my absolute favorite food, also when you are on a budget, and that will be eggs. Eggs are in many ways just the perfect food. It has all the nutrients you need, and it's very good for your wallet as well. And if I would be on a very tight budget, 80% of my diet would probably be eggs, because it's hard to get anything better for that cheap price that you can get eggs for. And of course, there's quite a bit of variety in eggs on the quality and stuff. Here again, I would say that the cheapest eggs are probably way better than anything else that you can buy in the supermarket other than beef. And usually I can pick up some pretty decent quality eggs for 4 or 5 euros a kilo. But yesterday, for example, I picked up some eggs for 2 euros a kilo because it was the expiration date, and that is crazy cheap to any other meat that you compare it to. And right now I have around 75 eggs that I will be eating in the next coming days, but I don't have a problem with that. I love eggs. They're very nutritious. And that is also a very good tip, that if something particular is on a sale that week, go and buy more of that, and that week eat more of that food. And then next week something else might be for sale and you might eat more of that. So to basically have the flexibility to change a bit what you're eating, that is a very good way to really keep it budget friendly. So then I also want to talk about the financial benefits of being on a carnivore diet. And first of all, you will not be going out to eat or drink anything, so you will save quite a bit of money if that's something that you usually do. And you will also not need to spend any extra on snacks, on energy drinks, on sodas, all of these different stuff that most people spend quite a bit of their budget on. And something that is worth more than money that you will save is time, because you will not spend nearly as much time of thinking about food, cooking, grocery shopping. Everything is so much quicker, so much more simple when you're on a carnivore diet. And at least for me, after being on a carnivore diet, I don't need to spend money on supplements. Of course, in the winter, I will take some vitamin D, some K2, which is very cheap. But otherwise, in the past, I used to spend like 40-50 euros a month on different supplements. But now I don't need to buy it anymore because I get everything from my food. And I also don't need to buy any protein powders that I used in the past. So when you start thinking about it, there's a lot of cost savings that you get. And the way you save a lot of money being on a carnivore diet is when you improve your health, because you don't need to spend nearly as much on healthcare costs, if anything. And it's also a very freeing feeling to not need to rely on doctor, dentists, big pharma to make it possible for you to live your life. And even if you enjoy more expensive steaks and the carnivore diet somehow would be more expensive for you, which I doubt, you either pay with your money now or your health later. And is there really anything that is worth investing as much as your health? Because if you're not feeling good, you don't have high energy, you're not living pain free, is it really worth it to live? Personally, for me, to spend extra money on a carnivore diet where I feel good, it's the best investment I can do. I can't think of anything else that can give me a better return on investment. And also, when you think about it from a long-term perspective, having mental clarity, high energy, feeling good, that will give you the energy to actually work harder, to make better decisions, and in the long term, that will make you and save you a lot of money, more than you actually think. So personally, how I see the carnivore diet is that most people will probably save a ton of money going on a carnivore diet, and it's also a very good investment in your health, in your life overall. So don't let affordability be the reason why you don't start the proper human diet and start to take care of yourself. But please comment down below, what are your best tips being on a carnivore diet on a budget? Otherwise, I thank you very much for watching and subscribing, and if you want to keep on learning, I will watch this video next. Otherwise, eat meat, take care, and have an amazing rest of your day. Goodbye.